What kind of results are you guys getting right now? And in terms of your marketing efforts, where do you think your biggest challenges are?
I myself have been going out into the community to kind of like blast the community. I've done some lunch and learns. We have more lunch and learns already scheduled. Grassroots marketing. We do have referrals coming in from, which is great, and they do continue to come in. But of course, we need more.
Right. And what's the quality of that other referral source that you have right now?
The referral sources that we have now are pretty quality. They are patients in our office, so it's there.
Okay.
Yeah, so that has been the most successful, mainly doing Facebook and Instagram campaigns. It's a wide range as far as socioeconomic. Financials was a huge issue. So the patient base that we did receive and did come in, it was very difficult to close those cases because of their they just couldn't afford it. And so the best marketing was grassroots, hitting the floor, referral base from other practitioners. Those are the most solid ones because they already have a relationship with those practitioners. But my biggest concern is really the Google footprint. What demographics can we reach? Because patients, they just don't cold call. They do their research before they come in. Now that we have that, I'm interested to see how we can use that as well.
Good. You mentioned a lot of really important points I kind of want to dig into. What you're also doing is you're validating that what I'm hearing so far in the airway community, that the most sources where doctors are used to getting patients are from their medical referral partners. And that has been enough to kind of keep them going, but it's hard to grow that because they're not in 100% control. They're at the whim of, whatever's going on with those doctors. Like you said, they're all struggling with their own COVID challenges as well, or maybe they change focus and those referrals drop off. And so then what does that do with our business? So ultimately we want to be in control of the patient flow. And that means that we want to have a strong presence online for patients that are actually searching for this stuff, that they can find the dentist, see the dentist as the authority, and actually be interested in the solution. All they need really is the introduction to the patient to be able to have a conversation and figure out what is next. And that's where our marketing helps. You mentioned the importance of a website, and yes, we can help there. The biggest challenge is the right content. You mentioned that the patients are actively searching. They're not just cold calling, they're out there researching. And I think that's where your other marketing partner may have missed the mark. And you're talking about the demographics and all that kind of stuff. I think we need to take a step back. And what we've done at Driven is taken a step back and not look at this from a demographics and targeting perspective, but look at it from a problem solution perspective. Mm-hmm. The biggest challenge in your marketplace is that the majority of your patients actually don't really know what the root cause of the problem is. They're struggling with a bunch of symptoms and they're very problem aware, but they're not solution aware. And so they're out there searching for all the things that go along with having a compromised airway, but they're not recognizing that one, compromised airway is the root cause, and that two, the dentist is the best person to help you solve this problem. They need to connect the dots before they can actually be motivated to reach out and talk to you guys. And so we need to get content in front of the audience that's searching to solve those symptoms and help them fast track through. And that fast track is not an easy journey. It's kind of like it's a perilous road because there's so many options for understanding what the real problem and the solutions are. Like if you think about it, a patient struggling with airway that doesn't know that they, may have a diagnosable disease like sleep apnea, and they don't know what the right solution is, they might be considering going to Walgreens and getting like a mouth guard, or maybe I need to take some supplements or take some melatonin at night, or change my pillow or my bed, or do a diet or exercise or whatever. They actually are totally lost, and there's so many different routes they can go. They don't know what medical professional they should even be having this conversation with. So it's no wonder that it's really difficult to cut through all that noise with a marketing campaign where they don't really even see the need when the offer is there, like, hey, take a sleep assessment. They can't process that yet. They don't know enough about their situation to understand why that action would be valuable. And so that's where we honed in our marketing message. And what we did is we created a really specific type of campaign that connects the dots and bridges the gap. It's called the Discovery Campaign. And you've probably seen this in other industries where it's basically an advertorial is presented. It's advertising, but it's presented almost like news or educational material. And embedded inside that is a story of an actual patient. And the way that we created this story is we just interviewed the doctor. You guys have patients like this walking into your practice every single day. You know, it's the working mom who's trying to, you know, have enough energy to do great at her career and also, you know, take care of her family and feel good doing that on a daily basis. But she just can't because for whatever reason, she's not sleeping well enough. And now she's struggling to be the mom that she wants and you know, advancing her the career that she needs. So she's desperate for a solution. The doctor tells a story of that type of patient that came in, and he describes their diagnostic process and the assessment and how that led to his diagnosis that, hey, the root cause is actually a compromised airway. And this is such an important problem because all these symptoms that you are having, they're actually all related, and they can lead to even scarier problems that a lot of patients didn't know. But there is a solution. It's this appliance that actually over time completely permanently changes your anatomy and helps you solve that problem for good. So now you can be the mom that can be the best mom she can, go to work, kill it at work, and come home and just be the boss and enjoy everything. So the patients reading this story are experiencing vicariously through this patient story, that aha moment. Oh, wow, I'm struggling with those same things. Oh, wow, I didn't know that it was connected to my airway. Oh, wow, this doctor really knows what they're talking about. And that is an interesting solution that looks like it could solve all my problems. I want to know more. I'm going to take an assessment. And so we're accomplishing all of that with this very specific article. I'll show you a link so you can see it in action. The part that we're really excited about is how it's actually created. It's pretty high quality, and it actually doesn't require a ton of the dentist's time and attention. Unlike other video production or content production stuff, they don't have to sit down and be wordsmiths or, you know, magic, you know, orators or whatever. We just interview them on a Zoom call, just like this. That call is recorded and transcribed, and we guide them through the conversation with a very specific set of questions that helps us kind of uncover that story. It's a before, during, and after kind of journey. And in between, the doctor's dropping all of their clinical nuggets about, you know, the process and, you know, the solution. But the writer puts all of that together for you. All we need is the recording and the transcript, and we can come up with actually anywhere from 1 to 3 or 4 different articles that we would publish on a periodic basis in a particular period of time. And then we take that article, turn it into multimedia. We create a video from it. We create social posts from it. We have an email, that all from this one conversation. And now we blast it out to the internet on all of the channels where patients are actively searching for a solution. So they're seeing it on YouTube. They're seeing it on Facebook. They're seeing it on Instagram. They're seeing it on your blog. They're getting it in your emails. And it's this really engaging, emotional, compelling story that is giving them the motivation, the knowledge, and the trust with the doctor to finally reach out and take an assessment. So that's what we deliver for you guys. We guide you through the creation process. We put together the website where we house that article. We publish it on all these different channels. We run the campaigns that drive traffic to it. And then on top of that, we actually deliver a CRM on the back end that catches all of the assessments, and will coach your team on how to follow up with those leads and get them into the practice. Typically, the next step after a lead is generated is there's a phone consultation or a virtual consult, and then you'll decide where to send them from there, whether it's to a healthcare professional to get their sleep study, or if they've already got that stuff, they can come right into the practice and take it from there. In some cases, doctors may even be able to start the process without even having the patient come in the door. We can, you know, get their diagnosis and stuff like that. And I'm told that you guys can work virtually for certain cases where you never even have to see the patient. This is certainly, you know, facilitate those types of opportunities. So that's the overview and the real vision. So this is an example of an authority site. You know, this is separate from the doctor's regular website. This would be something we'd break off. Now, why it's important for us to separate it is a lot of your people in your network are GPs, and they're focused on a whole bunch of other treatment. So it's hard to rank a site for this specific type of thing when it's kind of competing with everything else. Google really doesn't know what the doctor focuses on. This airway authority site makes it crystal clear that this is an area of focus for this practitioner, And these are the services that are related to that. So it kind of separates it out into its own thing. It doesn't compete at all from an SEO value with the existing platform that may be in place for a practice. It actually adds to it by giving it one more piece of digital real estate where patients can discover the practice. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. And so basically it's just a collection of a few pages. You got your homepage is kind of like the About Us. It kind of says, you know, what's an airway focused dentist, gives some of the credibility of the background of the doctor. And then we really just link to the different advertorials. I'm going to pick one as an example here. I'm going to give you the link so you can explore it on your own. But I'll walk through the setup here of our advertorial stuff. Now we've got some variations of how it's presented, but it's meant to be a minimal, you know, focus. It's not all salesy, like, hey, call us, book an appointment. That stuff's not in your face. We just kind of gently put those call to actions on here so that when the patient is ready, that's the obvious next step. And so we've got the call to actions. You got a phone number here, you got to book a virtual consult. And as we scroll down, you know, that's kind of inserted in various places. But what we know for sure is the patient has to get to a certain mindset before they're ready to take this action. So we're focused on creating that first. This is the content. I'll let you watch this story. I think that will make things obvious here. So this isn't the advertorial site. You could, you know, pull up and read it, but you'll notice.
I had a 7-year-old, about 67-year-old patient who came to the office seeking care for ringing in his ears. He couldn't take it anymore. He went to an ENT, talked to his physician about it, went to an ear doctor, explored everything he was aware of to get rid of the ringing in his ears. No one could really help him, and he was at wit's end. He heard about me, and he said, please take a look, see what you can do. So we did our evaluation. We did a 3D X-ray to evaluate the airway to see if he was challenged there. We also did a sleep study to see if there was issues that were going on while he was sleeping. Turns out that he did have a sleep issue, and that sleep issue was causing him to clench and grind as his body was trying to figure out how to get oxygen into the mouth while he was sleeping. And that pressure from the clenching was causing destructive forces on his jaw joint, and that inflammation was affecting his ears. And that's what was causing the ringing in his ears. As soon as he made an appliance for him, he felt fantastic. No more ringing in the ears. Other symptoms which he didn't relate to it felt better. And that's a good success story. Not everyone's that quick. Sometimes it takes as long as 6 months, but oftentimes, not all the time, but oftentimes ringing in the ears is caused by inflammation in the jaw joint, and inflammation in the jaw joint is often caused by sleep disorder breathing.
That's awesome.
Yes. I mean, in 2 minutes and 40 seconds, we have hopefully created lots of aha moments in that patient's mind. And that's exactly what we want. And you can see the production value of this. This is actually one of our early ones. But it's still with the captions and everything like that, very engaging. A video like this performs well on Facebook, great on YouTube. It's a great discovery piece of content that can get in front of somebody that's searching for how do I stop this ringing in the ears and give myself some peace.
Can I ask a question? You mentioned target audience. So what is the target audience, and how do you actually get this information to that target audience?
But it has nothing to do with demographics. It's all about search behavior. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's refreshing.
Yes.
Okay. I don't know if you have another call, but what expectations should we expect? I mean, within how much time? I don't know anything about how long our contract is. Or at what point do your team say, and we say, hey, look, you know, we're not getting the response that we thought. When do you revamp and say, okay, we're going to try this strategy or hop to the next? So how much time should we really give this?
Great question. Typically, we're going to start getting responses very early in the campaign, especially because we're using paid traffic and our content we've got it dialed in. We know what people are searching for. We're able to get leads for sure within the first month of the campaign going live. Now, It can take 30 to 45 days to get the campaign actually up and running to the point where we're able to start generating those leads, because we got to build out the site. We got to interview the doctor, you know, help them understand the process and kind of, you know, some doctors are more comfortable than others in giving the story. Some are naturals at it. Most of the doctors could do extremely well with just a little bit of coaching in our specific questions. So content creation is not a challenge at all, but it just takes time. So once we collect, you know, we make the interview, then we got to write all the articles and create the videos, publish all that stuff. And now we're ready to press the button on a paid campaign. We've got that process down to about 45 days or so before from contract to go live date. Okay.
Okay.
Once we go live, you will start to see leads come in. They'll be a little light at first as the campaign starts to build up traction, but what you can expect is anywhere from, I would say on the low end, 30 to 45 leads in a 30-day period. So about one per day. I think that as we add more articles and we really dial in our paid campaigns, we can expect to see a lot more than that, to the point where, you know, we'd have to manage the campaigns to not overwhelm the team with managing all the leads. So I don't think lead generation is going to be an issue at all.
Okay. Great.
That's happening within, so we're about 60 days in now. In terms of contracts and stuff like that, I would say our minimum commitment is 6 months. And it's just because there's a lot of moving parts for this type of dentistry. You know, the marketing is just the first step, but we're going to have to master the skills of connecting with these leads, managing that conversation to get people to follow through and come in, actually show up with the right expectation. Then we got a treatment plan, get them to accept the treatment. And then we got to get paid, which is, you know, medical billing is another factor in all of this that a lot of practices struggle with. So, but we still got to do all that work before we actually get to a return on investment. And so what we don't want to do is attribute the challenges that are happening in the clinical processes to the marketing stuff. Marketing's job is to create the opportunities and make sure that, one, we're just getting the right amount of quantity and quality of new patient conversations. And after that, it's up to the practice to actually convert on that. And that might take a little bit more attention and time. And we definitely will support them, but we got to give it that time and attention needed to be successful. Any other questions?
Well, I feel like I've been in the Jurassic period all last year until yeah, you guys sound like you really have hit it with what works. So I'm really excited. I hope we can do this.
One question everybody asks is, how much does this cost? Our retail price is $6,000 a month. And $6,000, what do you get with that? We're building out the website. We're putting together all of these original articles. This is the doctor's content that's coming straight from their head. We're just making it nice and pretty and really easily consumable. We're essentially running a very effective SEO campaign by creating all this additional social content, video content, and building all the links back. That's a permanent thing over time. That presence is going to remain for the practice. That's also establishing their authority. We're giving you a CRM to manage the leads. We're providing all the coaching to help you follow up with the leads, and we're connecting you, with the resources or the best practices that we collect ourselves from working with all the dentists that are all working on the same campaign. We're going to be able to guide them all the way to case acceptance. So that's what they're investing, and that includes ad spends. But that's typically
it's included.
That's
it's not
included.
like,
yes.
oh yeah, on top of you're gonna use your credit card on file because we need to run this. That's where it was frustrating. It was like, oh, okay.
Yes, Carlos will reach out. He's actually going to be our primary, client liaison, and we'll have a process to get you guys onboarded, and then we'll start creating the content and building out all your stuff for you.
Okay.